Welcome, I'm Elena. Let's make some stickers. Hey there, so I am in Cricut Design Space and I'm going to make some stickers with my Joy. Now there are some limitations to what you can make stickers out of with the Cricut Joy. The Cricut Joy doesn't support print then cut, at least not technically. There is a workaround for that, but it's fairly complicated. And today I just want to show you the basics of making stickers with the Joy. I may do the more complicated version in the future. Let me know in the comments if you're interested in that. Anyway, so you basically can cut outlines and turn them into stickers. So they can be of any shape, any word, whatever you're interested in. So you're kind of confined to, things that look interesting, and then maybe you can cut them out of funky paper, which is what we're going to do. So I'm over here on the shapes menu on the left-hand toolbar, and I'm going to pick a star and a heart because those are obviously kind of fun and especially good for this sort of time of year. So the widest that the Joy can cut is 4 1/4 inches wide. So we need to make sure that everything fits within that constraint. So I'm going to make these fairly small because I don't need a 3 1/4 inch star, although you can do that if you want. So I'm going to change this. I'm going to go up to the size box on the top, and I'm going to take this down to 1/2 inch. And because it is locked here, it will change proportionally. It will maintain the aspect ratio. So that gets that down nicely. And then the heart, I'm going to take to 3/4 inch. So you have a couple options. If you want to duplicate everything that you're going to turn into stickers that's on your canvas, you could at this point hit make it, and there's here I'll do that. So click make it. I would be on the mat with my Joy. Up here, project copies, you can increase this. However, and so you'll see it like increases the hearts and the stars nicely. However, it also increases the words that I already had on the canvas, and I don't want to do that. So that's the limitation on doing project copies. So because I don't want to duplicate the words, I'm going to cancel this and go back here, and I'm going to duplicate these here. Now I want to change everything to the same color, because I want to do this all on one mat if at all possible. So my star, I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to go over to the right layers panel and click on duplicate. And I'm going to duplicate it 4 times so that I have a total of 5. And then I'm going to line them up as best I can in a line. Click and select. All right, so this is 3 inches wide, so that's fine. You need to make sure that your dimension this way isn't longer than 4 1/4 inches. And then I'm going to go up to align, and I'm going to align the tops. And then I'm also going to distribute horizontally, just so that they're evenly spaced. And I'll do the same thing for the heart. So I'm going to click on that to select it, go over here to the top of the layers panel, hit duplicate 4 times, and then I'm going to space these out. Now these are a little bit bigger, so it's going to be a little bit trickier to get them under 4 1/4. Hopefully we can do that. Let's see here. Click and drag to select them all. Oh, I'm not under 4 1/4. All right, so let's get them closer together. Since I'm not adding an outline, because you really can't with the Cricut Joy, it doesn't matter how close together they are. All right, so that will work. And now I'm going to align up here on the upper toolbar. I'm going to align the bottoms on these, and then I'm going to distribute horizontally. Okay, that's only, you don't really You don't really have to do that. You don't really have to arrange them all perfectly. It's just kind of up to you. I like to do it just because it uses the paper in the most efficient manner. So I clicked and dragged to select all of the stars, and then I'm going to go down to the bottom of the layers panel and hit attach. Same with these, the hearts. Okay, and then if you wanted to make multiple rows of these, you could then duplicate the whole row and, you know, arrange it as you want. Now let's talk a little bit about words. You can also cut out words out of your sticker paper with the Joy. It's kind of fun. Just bear in mind that if you do a cursive word like this, you're going to have to weld it together so that it's only cutting the outside of the word. And I would also suggest that you try to use a fairly thick cursive font and make it, you know, not too small, because, you know, really, really thin lines on cursive fonts can be a little bit tricky for your Joy to cut, or for you to weed off the sticker paper, honestly. You can also cut like print fonts, you know, not cursive, but bear in mind that, you know, you'll have to peel off each letter individually. So I would go with like sort of chunky words that you don't have to spend too much time rearranging. You know, like birthday is going to be a lot but if you do it in like a sort of big enough, chunky enough font, it could work. You know, so things, bear those things in mind too. All right, so I'm going to kind of tuck these up a little bit closer to the hearts. Now I could go make it right now, but then the machine is going to stick everything kind of wherever it thinks will work best, even though we've made these into rows, so it might be okay. But just to make sure that it's going to keep it the way I've got it, I'm going to click and drag to select them all, and then I'm going to go down to the lower bottom of the layers panel and hit attach, just to keep them in the order I've got them. Okay, so now we can go over to make it on the upper right. It's going to ask me, how do I want to cut this? I want to cut it on a mat. And you'll see how it's laid it out. Looks good. I'm going to leave it exactly as is, and we will cut it out. So I'm going to hit continue. It's connecting to my Joy up here. So it's asking you to set your base material. So I'm going to go to browse all materials. Now the Joy has a couple of settings that could work for, depending on what kind of sticker paper you're using. There's this one that's Smart Paper Sticker Cardstock, but that's for like designed to be cut without a mat. And then there's also Deluxe Paper Adhesive-Backed, which is a Cricut product. And those work, but they're a lot thicker than the sticker paper that I'm going to use today. I'm using some matte sticker paper that I purchased off Amazon. It will be linked in the video description and the blog post if you're interested. And that took a lot less pressure than what these settings are set to. So bear that in mind. One thing that does work fairly well, if you don't want to go in and make a custom material, is this Smart Iron-On Patterned. That has the lowest pressure setting, and that worked for my sticker paper. But I went down and I made my own material. So I went into this here at the very bottom, material settings. And then at the very bottom of this screen, you can add a new material. So you can name it. And then this is going to ask you to set the pressure setting. That's what you're doing here. And the pressure setting that worked for my sticker paper, my matte kind of thin sticker paper, is 85. And then you leave this off, and then you are using the fine point blade. So then you would save it and that is saved into your Joy materials. I'm not going to do that because I already did it, so I'm going to just hit cancel at this point. Yeah, here's my custom material, matte sticker paper. So I'm going to close out of this, and I'm going to go back to browse all materials, and up here under search all materials, I'm going to just type in matte, and then I can find it really easily. I'm not really sure how it decides where things go when you do a custom material, so I don't want to bother looking for it. All right, so select that and hit done. Whatever you name your custom material, that's what you want to do. I left the pressure at default. You could go less if you are worried. And so now I'm going to head over to the machine and load the mat into the machine. So let's go on over there. All right, let's talk a little bit about materials that you could use to make stickers. Now, Cricut makes this paper, which is the Deluxe Adhesive-Backed paper. I showed you the setting for under materials for this. These are fun because it's got 5 different patterns to it, and it's like a long sheet that you can cut stickers out of. And there is a bunch of different patterns and sets of these, so I'm sure you could find something you like if you just want to cut out like a cool pattern paper, and then you would just use the setting for this. However, as I mentioned, I am using some matte sticker paper. So it comes in a sheet like this. It's 8.5 by 11, and then you just trim it down with a paper trimmer to fit on your Joy. And so what I did was, this one is an SVG pattern that I just printed onto this paper and then trimmed it down to create this sheet. So you could do that with any pattern, SVG pattern that you've got, or digital scrapbook paper, etc., to make your own pattern paper. This would be less expensive, I believe, than going with the Cricut Adhesive-Backed paper. Or you can make your own pattern. So this is the same piece of matte sticker paper. I just took some Distress Oxides and blended some color onto it, and then I took a couple of metallic markers and just kind of scribbled on top of it, dotted it to give it that metallic-y, there we go, parts to it. So you can make your own fun patterns, or your kids could make them, or your grandkids could make their own patterns and make stickers and then cut the stickers out of them. So that's pretty cool. All right, so I am going to use this piece, and I'm going to stick it on my mat like so. And this is just the standard grip normal mat. And then load it into my machine. Okay, and then back over in the software, I will click go. Okay, so my paper was a little bit too short for the high, but we're going to peel off the rest of this. Okay, and there we go, pretty cute. So that's how you make your very own stickers with your Cricut Joy. We cut a couple other examples. Now this is obviously the first one we just did. I think they turned out really cute. This is from that grid pattern paper, the SVG that I printed, showed you a little bit earlier. And then this is from the Deluxe Adhesive-Backed paper set. I thought those are pretty cute. They are really thick, probably better for die cut stickers. I did cut them twice, so I'm not sure if that's why it cut through or what. But thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, I'd appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. Here's a couple other things that might interest you. And hey, think about subscribing to my channel. Thanks, have a great day.